Welcome to this Windows channel, and today we're going to show you how to boot into safe mode. Booting into safe mode is something that is important because it is a great mode to tweak and troubleshoot your computer if it has problems. Very often the problem in Windows is that you want to tweak something or you want to play with some of the files or change file configurations. But when Windows is working, there's a lot of the stuff you can't do because Windows, will kind of hold these settings and files, and you just can't really play with them. It's kind of a protection mode to make sure that you don't do anything bad to Windows while it's working. Safe mode is really booting the computer into the minimum that it needs to actually boot up. So often the drivers aren't loading. Often most software that actually boots up with the computer doesn't. A lot of the viruses that might actually plague your system when you are using it might not be there if you go into safe mode. Now that said, a lot of these viruses are actually programmed to even boot into the safe mode. But you know what? It's one of the great modes for tweaking. If you're a enthusiast or the family tech guy, you'll want very often to go into the safe mode to try and play around with the system files or maybe tweak drivers that are causing crashes and stuff like that. So to go into the safe mode, you right click on the bottom left on your start menu. If you have a touch device, you can touch and hold. Now that said, if you have a touch device, it's possible that when you're in safe mode, the touch functionalities will not work. So make sure you have a mouse available so that you can actually tweak the options if your touch display or touch device doesn't work anymore with the touch functionalities. So once you've right clicked there, you go into the run, you go and type msconfig in that little window, msconfig, and you press enter. Here you'll have the system configuration pop up. Go into the boot tab at the top. There you'll just put a check mark into safe boot, and you leave it at minimal. Minimal means it's really the minimum needed to actually start up. If you want to tweak something with network functionalities, you can of course click network here, but for most people minimal will be what you want, and you'll click apply and OK, and it's going to ask you to restart. So you can click the restart button. So what it's doing now is that it's shutting down Windows completely in order to actually reboot, but it's going to reboot and the safe mode configuration, which is, like I said, minimal functionalities. Now in safe mode, don't think you're going to run any pieces of software. Don't think you're going to be able to uninstall some of the software or the programs that are installed, as a lot of these functionalities are not available. It's really for basic tweaking of the system. It's more of a manual way of doing things into Windows. Manual removal of folders that contain viruses, for example, because the viruses, when they are actually running in Windows, you won't be able, often it's going to say, oh, you can't delete this file because it's being used and stuff like that. Safe mode very often will let you do it because these functionalities aren't working. Now, if you've set up a PIN or a Microsoft Hello type login, you will need to actually enter a really your password, and it's very important. Your PIN doesn't work here. Any functionalities that make entering into your user account aren't working. So you have to enter your full password or Microsoft account password to go into this setting. Once you are booted into safe mode, you'll know that you're in safe mode because on the screen you'll see watermarks. You'll see that the corners will say safe mode. You'll see that at the top you'll have the build version of your Windows. As you see here, Microsoft Windows Build 10.240 in my case. And so here's where you'll be able to do whatever you want more in a manual fashion, go into the different, folders and tweak into the system folders and erase and remove whatever you want to remove from your computer. This will work for anything that you need to do some fixing into Windows. It's very, very useful mode for that, as it's really the minimal functionalities. Here the drivers that are loaded are the basic drivers. It's a good way to actually see if your computer works okay without the drivers. And as you see at the bottom right, I don't have any internet, there's no sound, there's nothing, because we are at the basic form of the computer here. So that's how you boot into safe mode in Windows 10 from within Windows 10. I'll be posting a video either later today or this week on how to go to safe mode if you just can't boot your machine, because that's also a possibility. You might want to try to go to safe mode to remove something that maybe you did or something that went wrong, but your computer can't boot. There's another way to actually go into safe mode if your computer doesn't boot at all. If you enjoy my videos, why not subscribe to my channel? Before we leave, how do you go back into normal mode? Right click on the start button once again, you go back into the run, click and type msconfig. It should be there already because you did it once. Press enter. What you'll want to do is go into the boot option again, remove that little check mark into safe boot, click apply, OK, and restart. One thing that will happen when you restart from safe mode, very often your preferred way of entering or going into your user account will be disabled. So for example, I had to enter my password here in safe mode. It's going to stay at password, so you'll have to click the different login options when it starts to probably put back your favorite option. For example, what I'm doing is basically going into my user account with a PIN. So of course I'll want to put that functionality back as a PIN here in the user account when I go back. So here we go. Now it asks for a password, but you have sign-in options here. I'll click sign-in options, and in these sign-in options I'll go back into the PIN because that's what I want. So you might have to go there to change that option to your preferred option. If you enjoy my videos, give us thumbs up, helps us on the ratings on YouTube. Hopefully you enjoy the videos. They help you in understanding your PC and how to work with Windows. If you have any comments, questions, or problems, please share them with us. We'll try to help you if we can. And hope to see you again on the channel.